Get in closing strategies from both our guests. Ashwini, come to you first. What could you be advising in the last 10 minutes?
Well, first of all, people should trim their long positions which they have, say, from 5200, because the make or break of this market is about 5370, 5380. So we need to watch out, whether those levels are taken out, because if you see the list of losers, it's fairly long, and it seems that a lot of profit booking has started. So in case we are not able to make it beyond 5370, 5380, then it could be kind of an intermediate top. And chances are, the previous top was 5345. Today we went beyond it and we failed to close above it. So in a sense, that is also a reversal pattern. That will fail if we take out, 5380, 5400 decisively. So people need to, just trim down and just watch what happens next before, carrying positions forward. So going with that, you should probably go short on a Sobha Developers, which has crashed 30 bucks today with a stop about 350, and look for targets of about 325.
Okay, so that's one call or closing strategy from Ashwini Sell Sobha. Mitesh, any BTSTs or STBTs?
Neeraj, I think I would agree with Ashwini, and in fact, wanted to say the same point that one, we are not increasing a long exposure. I think I mentioned that in the beginning of the show also, that around 5370, I would rather wait for the index to get past 5400, 5410 to before buying aggressively. And while we are still trading slightly on the long side, I think I will just reiterate the call on Mahindra and Mahindra, and I think stick to it. We don't want to increase long exposure at the levels where the index might take a breather, and we have already had 3 days of run up, including today. I think intraday we were up about 35-40 points on the Nifty. So I think just hold it out. I think aggressive buying should be done only beyond 5400, or wait for some kind of intraday correction. I think you might get levels of 5300 to about 5280 on the lower side to buy fresh.
Right, from the mid-tier banking space, Avinash, any top recommendations?
From the private banking space, I think IndusInd Bank would be, definitely looking good. I think Yes Bank has moved up, so I think IndusInd, with the kind of numbers they have and the kind of, trajectory, I think in the next couple of quarters, possibly somebody who can hold on for maybe a couple of quarters, 6 to 8 months. I think clearly there is a space for an upside here, a price of around 370, 380.
IndusInd in the session is down about 1%. That's 323. I also wanted to get in a quick word, Avinash, on sugar stocks, which are a bit in correction mode, and fertilizer stocks in this market.
No, I think sugar stocks would definitely, continue to be in the limelight. I think with the kind of monsoon failure we have been hearing, Tanvir, by the end of the month, possibly one would get a clear picture as to what the position is. And if globally also, we have been hearing that there's a drought in US. So if, prices move up, which I think all probability in the last 1 month, sugar prices have gone up. I think probably you'll see a lot of action on the sugar side, because most companies are holding on to old inventories, and probably when the prices go up, they could possibly release it in the market. So I think from here maybe a Balrampur Chini or a Bajaj Hindustan, I think although this quarter numbers are not great, I think markets are probably looking at coming 2 quarters. Probably that would be a time to actually, if some aggressive investor wants to build positions now, this looks to be a short-term correction. I wouldn't be surprised if the market, the stocks move up later on.
Okay, yeah, the Indiabulls Group, any views there? Mitesh, I'll come to you. Any trading ideas?
No, Neeraj. In fact, I think Indiabull Realty did bounce back from critical support levels of 48.50. I think that's the high beta stock, and I was tracking that today morning. It's bounced back, but we're not seeing any reversal happening over here. I think if the stock price would have closed below 48, I would have been slightly worried and looked at targets of about 40 on the downside. But I think he just managed to hold on to support, bounce back from those levels. I think on the upside you will see 58 to about 60 again acting as a strong supply zone. So not much happening over here. It still remains a 10 rupee kind of a range.
Sure. Ashwini, 723 half on a Mahindra and Mahindra in the cash market. A BTST, or you would avoid looking at the market move?
Well, some stocks will move up while some will go down. So if you have to buy a stock, then probably you can buy Mahindra with a stop about 710, and during an upswing, chances are it will outperform the Nifty for the next few days. But clearly the way we are closing is not very positive, and we are forming a kind of a gravestone doji where we opened at about 5345, went up, and now are closing below the open, which generally is not a good idea if you are standing at a strong resistance. So people should take that on board, and if there is any follow through on the downside, then you will have to take your long bets off.
Mitesh, very quickly, 10 seconds, we didn't get a stock idea from you as a BTST or an STBT.
Neeraj, actually we're not recommending anything fresh from current levels. As I said, I think I just reiterated Mahindra and Mahindra purely because, as I mentioned, I think Ashwini also said the same thing. The today's price pattern movement or price movement of the index is not very comforting, and I don't want to increase any long exposure. Shorting, I'm still not doing it because this individual stock chart is still strong. Maybe in a correction I would want to buy into stocks.
All right, gentlemen, let's start winding up the market. You have the index coming in at 5340 for the session. That's flat, giving up all the gains that we made in today's trade. Remember, we traded above 5350 as well. That momentum got lost intraday. M&M is your star performer after earnings came in higher than street expectations. BPCL has done well for itself. Some of the commodity names have performed in a Sterlite and in Hindalco, Hindustan Unilever and Dragon Taxi. So some defensives have also participated and given support to the markets. The stocks that have come off, and it's really Bharti putting a lot of pressure single-handedly on the index, 6.5%. That's almost 3 crore shares traded for the stock. No meaningful recovery intraday coming in. Reliance Communications is down about 3% as well. GAIL is down about 2.5%. You have some of the banking majors which have looked weak in a Punjab National Bank, ICICI Bank, Reliance Power. DLF also losing steam in the session.
The broader markets, well, I can't really help it but point out Wockhardt to start it off because it's been a stellar performer in trade. 1156, 7% higher for a Wockhardt, so that continues unabated. Look at the broader markets. Kesoram Industries, 8.5% higher. The entire fertilizer pack has had a good run. So Chambal, National Fertilizers, Gujarat State Fertilizers, all of these have had gains, anywhere between 3% to 5%. Bajaj Finserv, 832, 3.5% higher. Jubilant Foodworks, 3% higher at over 1200. So good going for that one too. IRB Infra had a smart rally in trade, 6% higher at a point of time. Right now just about 2.5%, so it's cooled off with the market as well. What has not done well in the BSE mid-cap space, for example, Asoba Developers and STBT from Ashwini Stable, 5.5% off. NCC and the entire infrastructure basket. GVK, of course, posts the numbers as well, not doing too good, but NCC, HCC, JMR, Lanco, all of these sub 30 rupee stocks have just gone off. IVRCL, again, pretty much the same variety. Maybe the ticket size is slightly higher of a particular stock, but 45 odd rupees, again 4 to 5% off in the session. So that's really what the mid caps have done. The Indiabulls Group, Indiabulls Securities, Indiabulls Financial, Indiabulls Real Estate, all of the Indiabulls Group stocks as well have ended in the red, and no surprise, but must say they've bounced back quite smartly because Indiabulls Real Estate, for example, was down 10% at a point of time, now down just about 1%. So real smart recovery that has come into that group as well. Last but not the least, Bombay Dyeing posts the numbers, 3.5% off. ABB posts the numbers, actually not that off compared to some of the others. ABB still holding out in the green. This is the picture at close for the markets. The Nifty ending flat. We were trending upwards of almost 1%, back to 533, 0.5%, excuse me.